Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Masonry Strong Podcast. Today, I am joined by Phil and Donnie Williams. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Awesome. So you guys are brothers. How old are you guys? What's the age difference?
3 years and 9 months.
3 years, 9
Guess
months?
who the oldest one is?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
you're my new best friend.
I'm catching up.
I'll
I'm
buy you a
catching
drink
up.
tonight.
So many years I was picked to be the youngest one, but now I'm
Youngest
getting
one?
older looking. He's spending a lot of money
It's
at
the beard. It's the
plastic
beard, Donnie.
surgeon.
It's a
Yeah.
good beard, though. It's
Yeah.
a nice beard.
You hitting on me already? Just kidding.
How long have you guys been involved in the masonry industry? Since you were kids? Did it happen? Teens?
Well, we're fourth generation.
Fourth
On
generation?
one side. and
Wow.
The other side, our daddy married into the business, so I guess we've been in it since we was born.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
When
Got
did
a
you
picture of me when I was 5 that's on my desk with a trowel in my hand.
have a trowel in your hand?
On the
Wow.
wall, on the wall laying, I didn't really lay a brick, but my dad set me up like I looked like I was laying a brick.
Were you guys put to work at a pretty young age by your dad at all, or did you go with him on job sites and stuff? Yeah.
I tried to fight it for a little bit and going to football camps and basketball camps, but he was a little bit earlier in there with out there and working.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to work with both our papaws, and our grandpa and our papa were both, hard workers. One was a bricklayer, and the other one liked to, in his spare time, buy old houses and renovate them. And my dad would help, and I would go hang out with him. And 8 years old, playing with GI Joe in the sand pile with my little, GI Joe Army men, to pushing a wheelbarrow with no brick, to 10 brick, 20 brick, 40 brick, and then mixing mud. Dad would get me to help him figure drawings at night when I was like 13. That was back before laptops and
Yeah.
cell phones and all. And so he had to do that part of work at night. So that taught me how to read drawings. And then by the time I was 18, 19, I was kind of a foreman on the job. Then Philip, he finally decided that he wanted to go into the, quit college and come out there. So I'm 4 years older, but I probably had about an extra 4 years on him early
Okay.
but he caught up pretty quick.
Yeah. And did you always have like a passion for it?
And it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch them out there building buildings and, laying brick and, the exterior part of a building is the brick. So, I mean, masonry is the aesthetics part of a building. So, I mean, that's the only thing you really see. You don't really see the wood and the electrical and the plumbing. You really that's the focal point.
What was like the thing that kind of really sold you on it? If you kind of remember.
Man, I think it was Uncle Dennis always encouraging us. Like he would pick me to go over and start laying with him and labor with him. Laboring was the hardest part of the whole thing. It sucked because we had a bunch of old redneck bricklayers working for us, like Darren Lingerie and Red from Texas and all them, and they treated you like crap. And it wasn't something you wanted to go into when you was getting cussed out like that. But and up there one day we was laying brick on a church, and one of our guys that's been working with us forever, Alan Johnson, he was laying, and they went to the meeting, and I outlaid him on a brick wall, and he said, "Man, you was born to do this. I can't compete with that." And so, I mean, I was probably 19 years old, freshman in college. I was like, "Yeah, I guess I ain't got no choice," because college wasn't panning out. So, but I'd been out there in the field during the summers, as much as we could.
Yeah.
So,
And being in this field as long as you guys have, what's the biggest change as far as just what you've seen in the industry and innovation that you can like remember from when you were first starting out to like now?
Obviously, the scaffolding is.
Okay.
I remember the first time we got any crank up scaffold, it was just unbelievable, and all the handrails and all that stuff. We threw all that away as soon as we got it. It was in 1992 when we first got our first crank up, and then the first time I ever seen a hydraulic, like a scaffold that climbed up a wall, mass climber. It was just unbelievable. When we got our first one on the job, it was crazy. And then the way that the mixed mud, man, the first time I ever seen a hydraulic mixer where you could like just push the levers and push the buttons, that was a huge deal. And then grout pumping, man, we used to I can't even tell you. We should have big bowed up arms from all the buckets of concrete we've used, and then when we started pumping and grout hogging, it was just a game changer.
Yeah.
So you would think that production would have gotten better, but production just as a whole from each generation, production per day goes down
Yeah.
as an average. But the equipment and all of that's probably, and then the way that you estimate projects and the way that the project management scope of the work is done, and just the tracking alone, man, just the daily reporting and how we can in real time be sitting at one office or on an airplane or somewhere and then just look through. We've got a lot of processes and procedures in place now to where we train all of our guys to get specific information, a lot of pictures. So instead of looking at Facebook, we can just go through and look at raking or field wire and look at all of our projects and what's going on, and don't even have to travel 8 hours to see what's going on,
Right.
So
The
a lot of innovation.
The whole business side has just changed. I mean, Daddy had a 1984 Chevy truck that he did all his business out of. That was his office, except the dining room table after dinner. But I mean, like he said, now you got an office building and you got 10 or 12 people in there, estimators, project managers.
Yeah.
I mean, you got shop foreman, shop manager. I mean, it takes a team
Yeah.
these days. And like you said earlier, the production didn't get faster. It got a little bit lower.
Wow.
Especially with all the difference of innovations that's happened since then. I mean, it's totally different.
Yeah.
There's some guys out there still doing it like that, though.
Yeah.
The culture of management and the culture of leadership with all the new books and the way things have evolved and just all the information in your telephone that you can pop in a podcast like this and learn from, or get on Audible and listen to books, and you can just completely shift your perception on how you lead men and how you lead a company. That innovation is just so readily available also if you put the time and effort in. So that's changed a lot.
Yeah. Talking about leading a company, how did DRP Masonry start?
Oh my goodness.
We didn't enjoy the way that our dad ran things because
Okay.
he's old school and would whip like I got a whipping with a belt on the job. Made me awesome, made me tough, but I'd went out on my own, and then I'd went to New Orleans and opened an office, and he had come down there and work with me. And then we all kind of had a reunion, I guess, me and my dad and my brother, and we decided to go back to work together. And Dad, he had said he said, I'm going to retire in 2 more years. Well, he said that for like 10 years, so probably 10 years, 11 years ago, we started. Daddy come to us and he's like, okay, I'm going to retire. I'm going to name the company DRP, Donnie for me, Rachel, and Philip. Rachel's our younger sister.
Okay.
And he said, y'all need a platform. It used to be Williams Brickworks. And then so we were going to take this into the next, and our dad did like $1 million a year and have 30 guys. And
Wow.
he never liked to run no more than 2 jobs. And I was gung ho, wanted to, go big. And Philip, he's kind of in between. Our dad's a realist, I guess you could say.
Pessimistic.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that because he might listen to this one day. I'm real optimistic, you know what I mean? Like, oh, big, shiny new toy I'm going to chase after.
Yeah.
And we were good bricklayers. We did really good work. We were faster than the average mason contractor in our area. So we started getting a lot more work, and we started growing. And our dad, he had got to a point to where he's like, y'all are gambling with my retirement, because we had all this big AR and owed a lot of, just as you grow a company, buying all kind of new equipment. And he said, y'all are gambling my retirement. He would just throw a fit. And we were in a meeting one day, and he was just chewing me out about, I don't know, taking on some next big airport job. And Philip said, man, why don't you just let us buy you out? And he said, well, how much you going to give me? And we threw a number at him. He's like, how you going to pay me that? And we were like, you can go to the bank right now and get 1/3 of it, and we'll pay you the next till you're 80 years old. We'll set it up. And he said, I can go right now and go get that money. And we said, yep. And when he walked out and went and got that money, it was like a relief for me and Phil. Were like,
Sure.
we're fixing to grow this thing.
Yeah.
And so we've been growing ever since. Yep.
like in the beginning, you said you didn't like the way that your dad ran it, so you wanted to kind of run it a different way. What is the difference in the way that your dad ran it and the way that you guys like to run it?
Go ahead.
He may be watching.
It,
Man,
it-
yeah,
Go ahead.
really, it's about the growth. You know, I mean, the old school ways aren't that bad. I mean, we hired him back 9 months ago, 10 months ago to run one of the largest jobs we had.
oh wow.
And man, he 27.5% profit across the board on a job we probably shouldn't have made 20% on.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he did it the old school way. And but it was mostly basically about the growth. He didn't see the end of the tunnel. He didn't see that light. Donnie always sees the light. I mean, sometimes he has to say, hey, you know, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's just really the growth that he was so scared of that he didn't want to, you know, gamble his retirement, gamble all the money in the stuff that he has acquired over the last 30 years. And I mean, I guess the growth was the biggest part.
Yeah.
And the change, I mean, man, he walks in our office now and probably still gets nervous with all the computers and all the people just sitting there in a chair. I mean, that probably irritates him and stresses him out. Like,
Yeah.
they ain't out there putting brick in the wall. You ain't making no money off of them. So I guess it's
More of like a
Yeah.
limited mindset to where you don't have you kind of limitless.
not sure.
Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, we found our limits. That's but he would meet me. So he would do payroll, and you know he would do QuickBooks and all, and he would bring me this stack of checks, and he would just be freaking out because he didn't know everything. We had like 5 or 6 jobs going. He didn't know everything that was going on, and it frustrated him. He's hard but fair, just this big old tough redneck, tougher than we could imagine, you know, being just fist fight on the job. I mean, he's wild, you know what I mean? But he was always a fair man. But I remember him coming to me one day, and it was a stack of checks like this, and he said, "Payroll's $20,000." He said, "If there's anything I know, when payroll goes over 20,000, there's no way you're making a penny." And now payroll's 350,000 a week, and we are making money. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was just that. He didn't want to be a part of the growth because of the age and the security that he already had, you know, and we felt like we were capable of more, and he didn't want to be in the way. We felt like he was kind of in the way of growth, fighting us, so he got out of the way and let us buy him out.
When we started it, I mean, it wasn't but me and Donnie as bricklayers, and we had 4 or 5 laborers. We started Williams Brickworks that was changing to DRP Masonry. So, yeah, he was, you know, go from 2 bricklayers to 30 bricklayers. And I think I remember one time calling him with a Discover card that we had all our guys down there at a school in Gina. And I was like, hey, man, I'm $9,000 on my personal credit card. He was freaking out about the $9,000 on the personal credit card. I was like, these are all hotels. This
Yeah.
is all food we're having to pay guys to stay out of town. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Being brothers and kind of running a company together, is there any competitiveness, or are you both pretty level-headed and bounce off each other?
I don't think competitiveness.
We separate it good. I mean,
Okay.
we go to church together. We're leaders in our community and a lot of things. We have a 100-bed sober living house company
wow.
together that we do. He's pretty much the second in command at our church. I mean, we're rough around the edges. We cuss and spit and talk a lot of smack, but we're still, you know, believers, like Jamil had talked about earlier. And so we separate it good. I mean, we both have a lot of kids. We have sons in the business. I have a 21-year-old. He's got a 22-year-old. They're both estimators, and you know they work in the business. Eventually, they'll possibly take it over. So we can separate it. I know what he's better at, and he knows what I'm better at. And whenever we get into those heated type of situations where there needs to be a decision made, then we usually lean toward the one that has the best. You know, I'm more of a salesman, so I might lead with my mentality of a sale. In other words, if something's going bad on a job, we're having friction with the contractor, another sub, or they're demanding schedule, I'm more out to think about the next project and give grace and like lose a little money or spend some of the profit to push the job along or to continue the relationship so that whenever we come in second on a job, that contractor's gonna be like, no, I need to use the Williams boys because they're gonna do what we need. He's more of a don't let them screw us over, get the right amount of what's fair.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now because they'll forget that, So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we both have our qualities, and
Yeah.
I mean, we know each one of them's one of our qualities. I mean, we've been together for our whole entire life, so I mean, we really do know each other better than anybody else. So
Yeah.
I mean, I usually stay in my lane, and he does the same. And I mean, there's been times we both got in each other's lane, but we backed them out. So I mean, that's an open conversation. It's never really no big frictions.
Yeah. No, at the end of the day, it's just a
Work.
number in a bank somewhere. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Ain't like it's affecting our everyday. And I mean, we watched our mom's family work together. We've got uncles and second cousins and cousins that are mason contractors. We've got our dad's younger brother and his two sons are mason contractors, and they've worked for us some. Now one of them works with us, the other two don't. There's been, a little bit of friction there when our dad was in. Now we kind of, depending on how much work we got and where the job's at, we get along.
That's awesome.
We all get along good.
Awesome.
It's been at the end of the day, we're family.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
more important.
Nice. And just wrapping up here, I asked you as a foreman, instructor this question, but I can ask you both now as business owners, what does Masonry Strong mean to you guys?
Well, I mean, masonry, it's a perfectionist trade.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, man, that is the what you see. And when you drive up on a building, I mean, masonry is 100 years long, 100 years strong. I mean, it'll outlast anything, other than concrete.
Yeah.
But sometimes concrete fails too. So, I mean, the industry itself, I mean, us as a family have generations and generations to keep it going. We're fourth, why would it need to stop now? So, I mean, all the initiative to get better and is needed, because I mean, you don't want this trade to ever die.
Mhm.
So I mean, teaching it to the next generation is key to keeping it alive. And I mean, it's provided our family a good living and a good lifestyle for so many years, and I'd hate to see it die out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, grit and passion.
Your passion?
You gotta be tough
Yeah.
to be in this business. If you're not tough, you're not gonna make it in it. Passion, man, it's the plumbers. They don't have passion or you see
Yeah.
two plumbers. They don't really talk about, oh, I cut this pipe and I made this connection. Or electricians, they usually don't have this passion. But you get a bunch of bricklayers around each other, especially at the events like that
Yeah.
we're at now, and we're talking about what we built. And now with media, you're posting all these big elaborate buildings that you've done, or these big massive projects that you pulled off, and it's not a competition, it's not an ego, it's not driven by any of that. We're all like excited. Even our competition, we're still excited, and it's almost like an electricity between two people whenever they're bricklayers and they're mason contractors, to where it's just like a hidden connection, to where it's just so much passion.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thank you.